Hi, Assalamualaikum. So today we are going to learn about chapter 2, concept and design. Right. So what are we going to learn today? So today we are going to learn and um, identify the vision, purpose, or mission, goals, and objective of an event plan, and then I explain or identify the process of developing um, an event concept and also design, and describe the various stages in event planning process. So by today, you are going to know what kind of theme, what are the things or elements that we need in order for us to design, to have a concept about an event. Okay. So next, describe the various stages in event planning process. So when we are doing the plan or any planning, so of course it must be certain or it must get through certain process. Right. So next, what is the event design? So the definition of event design is basically the creation, conceptual development, and design of an event to maximize the positive and meaningful impact for the event's audience or participants. This is according to Steve Brown or Getz in 2008. So event design is basically it is a creation, or we have the concept um, towards our event, meaning our event must have a concept or a theme or something that will always remind us the kind of event. For example, here for sport event, so for Olympic, for example. So if you are about to see the Olympic, so you will always remember the logo of Olympic, meaning you will have 5 rings. Okay, so don't be confused. 5 rings is Olympic, 4 rings is Audi. Okay, so and then Brown and James 2004, they argued that design is essential to an event success because it leads to improvement of the event or event every level. So here, Brown and James said design is essential, meaning if you have an event, meaning you need to have design, you need to have concept, and you need to have something that people will always remember your event. Okay, because it always lead to improvement on every level, either on the beginning, during the event, after the event, the impact is there, and people will always remember our event. Okay, so designing the event. So what is actually how we are going to design our event? So designing the event, meaning the creative process in designing an event, is according to Van der Weyden and Carlos. And these are some of the elements that we need to have when we are going to design the event. First, we are going to have theme. Second, layout and staging. Number 3, we are going to have decor. Number 4, technical requirements. Number 5, entertainment. And the last one, we are going to have catering. Okay, so first, theme. It should be linked to the purpose, meaning the theme must be something related to the purpose of our event. When we are going to do an event, it must have a purpose. Okay, so when we are doing, when we are doing the event, we need to have a clear objective in order to link the theme into our objective. For example, if you want to do a charity event, so a charity event must be something that is very relaxing, and that particular charity event, it must have a certain theme which is calming your mind or something soothing you in order to link together. Okay, and then compatible with guest need and consistent in all respect. So the theme must be compatible to the guest needs, and it will link or consistent in all respect, especially the color scheme used in all items produced for the event. For example, you take the color scheme as the theme for your event. So during this time, what you need to do is, if the color theme for your event is black and gold, so all the design, all the concept must related to black and gold. It must be related to each other. It must not have like suddenly you have a blue tablecloth, which is it is not related at all. Okay, and then according to Goldblatt, the theme should be ideally appeal to all senses: practical, taste, smell, visual, and auditory. So the theme must be appeal, and it must be something related to our five senses, meaning we can see, so it suits our eyes, and then we can smell. It is a very the smell, the smell of the event itself, the smell of the foods that we have, and then the ears for the music. So it's the sound, something like make make us headache, or it is something that's soothing our heart. Okay, and then smell, visual, and lastly taste. So taste, it always related to food. So when it comes to food, is the food going to be okay or not? So it tasted bad or good. Okay, so the theme um, has been made in order to create a unique and memorable experience for the audience. For example, as according to theme, music to be played in the event. So if you are about to conduct a wedding event, for example, a traditional event, so what kind of music that you are going to play in event? You tell me, what kind of music that you are going to play at your event if you are having a traditional event? All right. Okay, so now we move on. There are endless number of potential themes. So some themes include the following. Maybe we can always have a historical theme, geographical and cultural, sporting, film, music and entertainment, artistic, food or objects. Maybe we are going to have a theme like the King of the Jungle, Animals in the Jungle, Madagascar, for example. Okay, so number two, we have layout and staging. Okay, so layout and staging meaning it is a creative use of the venue. So what we are going to do with our stage. If we have the stage, how we are going to control and how we are going to decorate the whole stage so that stage will be a center of attraction to our customer, okay, or to our audience. So the existence of layout and also staging is basically to create positive ambience so that we will have a good scenery and other artistic design elements, including curtain. Okay, so speaking about curtain, I have attended this one event, a wedding event. So I've seen this place earlier before I attended that event. So I know, okay, this place is chaos and a bit scary. So surprisingly, when I attended the event or attended this wedding, so I'm amazed because of the use of the house, the space. So it's quite interesting because previously, so few months before that, when I visited the house, it's like just a normal house. It's a normal kampung house. But when I visited for the wedding, so I'm quite surprised because um yeah, I can't imagine the curtain or the design for that particular place is super. Okay, so next we have space. So space, actually the color plays an important role to make the space very wide. Okay, so and then we have lighting and related to special effects. So is the lighting going to be something overwhelm our event? So whether a good lighting or a dim lighting is suitable uh, in um, in a concert or not. So when you are conducting an event like wedding, for example, wedding in a ballroom or hall, so you need to have a very dim light. Okay, so you don't need any light that is very bright and it may cause something that will block your visual. Okay, so and then sound system, musician or orchestra. So do you have any musicians there? Do you hire any orchestra during your event? Okay, and then arrangement of chair and table. So whether you are going to arrange the chair and table accordingly by using a round table in a group of 10, or maybe if you want to do an event, any award event like that, you may arrange the chair and table. Oh, sorry, you may only need the chair, no need for table. Okay, so it is depend on what kind of event that you are conducting on that day. Okay, and then this is the example that we have theme and also layout. This is the example of enchanted forest. So lighting plays an important role during this theme. Okay, as you can see. So there are lots of lighting available. So what happens if there is a technical error about lighting? So of course, um, it will change, it will ruin the mood of the audience and also spectators. Okay, so next we are going to have a theme, the Great Gatsby. So the Great Gatsby here meaning they are wearing a costume like the story of the Great Gatsby. You can watch later. Okay, so next we are going to have a beauty brand event. So during this event, they are displaying all the beauty brand. The name of the brand is Dr. Judd. So they display the product in order for them to promote at the event. Right. So next we are going to have decor or decoration. So decoration reflects the theme requires quality suppliers. So when we are doing the decoration, so we need a very good and reliable suppliers. Okay. So next we are going to have fabric, cloth or soft materials, and then kind of decorative item, stage props, drapes, and table setting rented or buy. Okay, so if you are going to have this kind of fabric, that fabric must be something that is clean and smells good. That one. Because when you are conducting an event, so of course the audience will have a very close contact with you, especially when you are setting a table. So they have to communicate directly with you. So choosing a very good fabric is important in your event, and it will avoid some fox smell and so on. Okay, so next, floral arrangement. It's either you are using the artificial flowers or you are using the fresh flowers. So of course, when you are using the fresh flowers arrangement, it will give a very soothing and a very calming smell. It's a fresh smell. Okay. Next, you need to have a good relationship with suppliers, assurance of quality product. So in terms of floral arrangement, the flowers, in terms of fabrics, or in terms of anything regarding suppliers, you must have a good relationship so that you will always get a very quality product. Okay, so that the supplier will not backstab you. They will give something that has been expired. Maybe the flowers is not long lasting. Okay, so you must have a good relationship in order for you to get a very good one. So next, identify the best or reliable suppliers of all commodities. So it is a time for you to make a negotiation with your suppliers. Maybe you will you have to find about 3 suppliers. So you have to negotiate to each and every suppliers available in order to get the best price with a very good quality. Okay, so next, number 4, technical requirements. So technical glitches should be avoided. Like this is the example of having a concert or show. Okay, so during having a show, you must avoid any technical problem. Yeah, I know technical problem is something that you cannot avoid, but you must prepare a backup system. A backup system is essential in any event, not necessarily for technical requirements. You need to have a backup system. For example, your speakers doesn't sound. So for example, your host is not there. So it is considered like technical requirements. What you are going to do? What is my backup plan? What is my contingency plan? Okay, and then technical support to ensure event running smoothly. So when you have just a small or plenty or a bit money, so you need to have a technical team in order for them to support and in order for them to take care of all the technical things. Okay, so in regards to that, you need to have a reliable technical contractor. Right. So next, number 5, we are going to have entertainment. So entertainment should suit the purpose of the event. The need of the event audience must be carefully considered. So when you are having many kids, for example, to your event, so you need always invite some entertainers that is related to kids. For example, you need to have clowns that are making the balloons for them. Maybe you are calling some vendors that preparing the ice cream, perhaps. Okay, and then you are going to call a mascot that is famous, like Upin Ipin, like what we call it, Omar and Hana. If you are conducting or organizing an event that is related to family or kids. Okay, so next, we are going to see about catering. It always related to food. Okay, so for catering or for food, you must ensure a good service and good quality food. So I understand the food is perishable, they are not long lasting, but you must prepare food that is not contaminated and causing a food poison to your customer. Okay, so unique and unusual food and beverage product, for example. So it is important to have a unique food, and at the same time, you need to have um, an edible food that is something that people can eat and remember. Okay, it must be something that is nice to see and nice to eat. Okay, so next, the planning process. So this is basically the planning process. So when we are doing anything, it's not necessarily event, but when we are doing anything, we need the planning process. We need to plan everything, because planning is very important. Planning is determining what has to be done and how we are going to plan, how we are going to conduct, and how we are going to make the journey of our event run smoothly. Okay, so it is a continuous and dynamic process, meaning we have to look at future consideration and consequences while monitoring internal and external factors. So we need to take care what kind of problem, what kind of things that we need to consider during our planning process. Okay, so both recurring or new one-off event requires constant strategic planning process, and it will change to the environment, market, behavior, and etc. Okay, so planning involves a systematic decision-making process, and it needs constant evaluation and feedback throughout the process. So we need always to monitor the planning process, and we need to have a constant evaluation. We need to have feedback. We need to check whether there is the process or the planning process runs smoothly, or is there any bottleneck, is there any problem occurred during the planning process. Okay, so next, the importance of the planning. Why the planning is important? Okay, so first, it is useful in determining and documenting the resources needed to accomplish the target project. So when you are conducting an event, you need to have something, or you need to have a plan that you will list down everything that you need. So you need to make a checklist, you need to prepare, okay, number one, it is done. Number two, it is not done. So you must have a document, a pile of documents that you need in order for you to accomplish the planning process of your event. So number two, you are going to assist in better using those resources in reaching the established goal, meaning you need to have a good resources in order for you to get a very good goal. So number three, controlling functions in administration, meaning assist in forcing some of the difficulties that are likely to occur. Meaning here, you are going to have control function, meaning you are going to take care the in and out, and you need to jot down every cost, expenses, revenues that you are going to get along the way of the planning process. And the last one, number four, keep other people informed, updated if they join the organization after a program, project, or vendor is underway. For example, if you have any staff that quits in the middle of the planning process, so when you have the planning plan, or you have the plan, so people that going to back up her or his work will know what kind of planning that you have been made, and the process is in what stage. Okay, so right, so we continue. Okay, so after we know what are the importance of planning, So next, we are going to see what is the event planning process. So according to Masterman 2005 event planning process model encompass both short-term requirements for the implementation of the event and also long-term objective that become the legacies of the event. So we need a short-term requirements. For example, like short-term requirements for the event, like we have an objective for each event. So our objective, perhaps this month we are going to conduct an event for a 3 days event. So our objective is to get as many revenue as we can. For example, our target is 500,000 for 3 days. Okay, so you said, okay, it is something that achievable and it is considered as short-term requirements. And for the long-term objective, we said, so the management decided to have a total revenue of 6 million. So how you are going to determine and how you are going to get the 6 million revenue towards the end of the year. So you must conduct and you must come out a few with a planning process throughout the year. So you are going to know how many events that you are going to conduct in order for you to get or to achieve that 6 million. Okay, so that are the differences between short-term requirements and also long-term requirements. Sorry, objective. Okay, so it is applicable to all scale of event and the process is universally applicable across the event industry. Okay, meaning the event planning process is applicable for any event, whether it is a small event, it is just a minor event, or it is a major or huge like mega event. It is applicable to all event. Okay, for this event planning process, and the event planning process consists of 10 stages. So this is the event model process. Okay, so event process model. Sorry. So we have the first one, objective, and then we have concept, feasibility, and then whether we are going to have bid procedure or not. So if you are going to have bid procedure, so if yes, and then you proceed. If the bid procedure or the bid has been rejected, and then you have to come back to the concept. Okay, and then after you proceed, you are going to implement and planning for short, medium, and long term. And then you implement the event, and after that, you hand over. After the event has been done, and then you need to hand over the event and then have evaluation, and lastly, having feedback. Okay, so now let's take a look on the first one, objectives. So objectives meaning you are going to have the goal or purpose when you are conducting or organizing an event. So why the event is to be held? Why you need to do that event? For what purpose? So what are the objectives that you are going to need to have that kind of event? So why do you need to have a birthday celebration event? So of course you want to celebrate one of your family members. Okay, so why you need to conduct a sport event, for example, SEA Games. So Malaysia as the host country. Why we need to be a host country? Because we need to create a networking. We need to have a mutual relationship with other countries, for example. Okay, so we need Malaysia to have a good name, a good reputation with other countries. So that is basically the objective that we are going to have when we are conducting an event. So what it is to achieve when we are going to conduct an event. So what do we need? So who is to benefit? So when we are conducting something that is related to our event. Okay, so when we are going to conduct an event, who will get the benefit when we are conducting that event? So is the visitor will get the benefit, or we as the organizer will get that benefit? Okay, so how they are going to benefit and over what time spent? Okay, and then you need to identify all stakeholders, especially the customers, suppliers, partners, investors, staff, external influencers. Will they get all the benefits from the event or not? Right? So number two, we are going to have concept. So what the event is and what it's look like. So are we going to have a unique theme for our event or not? Okay, so situational analysis and competitor analysis. So if there is a bid, meaning if you are entering a bid session, so you need to have a situational analysis. What is your situation? Are you going to cope? You can cope with a lots of expenses that happen to be when you are conducting or organizing a mega event or not. So what your competitor has been doing. So if there any um, is there any factor, good factor that you can win towards that bidding or not? Okay, so is your competitor doing good, or they are something, or they have 10 steps ahead from you or not? Okay, and then skills of event and operation, timings, location and venues, facilities and available target market, etc. So you need to know the event is small or big. So what kind of concept that you are going to adjust according to the scale of that event. So how many resources, how many staff that you need? Do you need any volunteers? The timing. So if the event is quite a big event, are you going to have a 1 week event, or maybe you are going to have a 3 days event? Maybe if you are if you want to conduct an event, a birthday party. So how many hours that you need in order for you to organize that kind of party? Okay, and then in terms of facilities, so facilities, what kind of facilities that you are going to have? If you are going to get lots of huge costs for your event, so what kind of facilities that you are going to improve? Okay, so and then target market. So according to target market, are you going to target youngsters? Are you going to target senior citizen, and so on? Okay, so according to strategic partners, you are going to have, and we need to have a strategic partners either in local, national, or international or something. So that kind of strategic partner, maybe or perhaps we need to have our sponsorship, or maybe the strategic partners inclusive our target market or not. Okay, and then we need to have internal and external decision makers. So internal decision makers meaning people that are in our team, people like the boss or the top management. Maybe for internal decision makers, they are part of our team. So we need to gather all opinions of all people. So they are going to be the decision makers. As for external decision makers, maybe we are going to have to get some decision from our from media, from our stakeholders like that. Okay, so we need to have some opinions from our stakeholders, like visitors. We need to conduct a survey from our visitors, conduct a survey from our participants like that. So that is kind of decision makers and also stakeholders and organization. Okay, so what we are going to do when we have the concept, we need to analyze the concept. The following elements to be considered at early stage of concept development. First, we need to consider the competition in terms of timing and duration of the event. So do we have any clash event when we are conducting that event at that time or that date? Okay, I've been organized this event, participating in this event at Mata Fair in Johor Bahru. So at that time, I am quite surprised when I went there. So there are no people, so less people, not say less people, but very less people coming to our event. So I'm quite surprised. So when I made some research over the internet, and then I saw at that time there is the same event but at different place. The same travel fair event, but it happens to be in Singapore. So when I checked with the organizer, so they said, yeah, we don't have any other date. So we have to make this event run because we are not really um, we are not really into it. Meaning they don't really see the competition happen during that time. So they don't know what kind they don't know there are any events happen during that time. Okay. So number two, regulations, the impact of law and regulations. So as for regulations, they need to check is there anything happen towards the law or regulation. So is the organizer acting related to the law or regulations or not. Okay, and then number 3, marketing, how we are going to sell an event. So before the event happens, we need to promote aggressively, because when we fail to promote aggressively regarding our event, people don't know and people are not aware about our event. So when people are not aware about our event, meaning the marketing is at failure. Okay, and number 4, community impact, meaning the community or local people. So when we are doing or organizing that event at particular places, so is the community aware of our event and are they accepting of our event or not? Okay, and the number 5, risk. So risk is always happen. So it is how you are going to manage the risk. For example, whether if you are going to um, conduct an outdoor event. So as for VIP, maybe you are inviting the VIP to come to your event to make your event what we call that uh, to make the opening ceremony happen, but happen to be that VIP cannot come to your event. So what will happen? Okay, are you going to have a backup plan or contingency plan or not? Okay, and then lastly, revenue and expenditure. So what kind of revenue that you will get and what expenditure or what cost that you have been um, doing towards the event. So what are the investment ROI or return on investment that you are going to get from that event? Okay, so preparing an event proposal, these are the elements or these are the things that you need to have when you are preparing the event proposal. So first you need to have event description, event names, event type, then location, state and country, where you are going to do your event, and then you need to have date from day 1 to day 3. What is the date? And then duration, how many days, the timing. Is the event will happen in 12 hours? Okay, and then overview and purpose of the event or concept of the event and aims and objective of the event. So these are the things that you need to have. Okay, so as for concept in the event management, you need to do or you need to know what is the responsibility of the management. So are the management will responsible of any decisions that has been made, and then major stakeholders and agencies and physical requirements. So as for concept, you need to have a very good physical requirement such as venue. So when or what is the venue? So if happen to be you have completed everything, meaning you have done your marketing and then you have promoted all the places and then you have made a banner or bunting and it's only time for printing. But at the same time, accidentally, you haven't confirmed for venue. So what will happen to your event? It will be a loophole, a huge loophole, whereas you need to do everything back. Okay, so it will be a major failure for you. And then route for street events, for example, if you conducting any streets event or any festivals that require street, so what is the route? When in where is the entrance and where is the exit route? Okay, and then you need to have event map and then event layout. For event layout, if you are conducting your event indoor, sorry. So if you are conducting your event indoor, so what you are going to do? So what is the layout? So when you are having an emergency, what you are going to do for that kind of emergency? Okay, and audience. So what kind of audience and what kind of target market that you are going to do for your event? So do your event going to have impact, a bad impact or negative impact for social, environment, and economy? So will it be a good impact or bad impact? Okay. So lastly, to have a financial control. Okay, number 3, feasibility. So the event design is tested to see if it will work on resources, facilities, budget, partnership, marketing, etc. Meaning during this stage, you need to check whether the plan or something, the process that you have been planned earlier on, it is applicable, it will work or not. Okay, so you need to do a cost benefit analysis, meaning um, the if you have gotten a cost, this cost, so what benefit will you get? Okay, so you need to determine a critical path required, whether a shorter and longer term. You have to map out the chronological plan of all critical decision, meaning you need to determine in that process which category or which stage will have the bottleneck or the critical part. Okay, and then the essential focus is to determine if the event can deliver the objective. Right. So number 4, if everything is in order and if you enter the bid process and then you are approved to that bid process, so you are going to proceed. So it is dependent upon the objective being feasible of the decision makers. So if yes, you have gone through the bid procedure, then you need to prepare, market, and present the bid. But if no, you need to evaluate back the whole process and you need to get the feedback and you need to go to the concept stage again. Okay, so next, after you have been approved, you need to proceed, then you implement the event. So the short-term requirements of the event are considered. You need to determine all the operation strategies and you need to develop the critical path and the performance indicators. So when you are doing the event, when you are conducting the event during the event day, you must know, okay, this is the day. So this is the final day. We must do our best. Okay, so during the implementation of the event, you must execute the plan and the event stage. So the event must happen smoothly according to all the plans that we have been made earlier, and the implementation of the strategies must be happen during this stage. Okay, so number 7, after the end of the event, so you need to hand over. It means the shutdown of the event means you need to clear everything. So the handover of facilities or even equipment is key for all skills of event. So it involves a handback to owners and you must hand over all the responsibility. Meaning if you have rented the venue, you need to send the key back to the owners of the venue. Okay, so if you have rented the suppliers and then you need to give back to the suppliers. Okay, if you get A from the suppliers, you must return it in a good condition A. Okay, so you cannot be, if you receive A and then you need to give B. Okay, so next, number 8, evaluation. So evaluation is important whether you are doing short-term evaluation or medium or long-term evaluation. Okay, so there are few types of evaluation, whereas you need to have post-evaluation. Normally for evaluation, post-evaluation happen when you are having a post-mortem report or evaluation, brainstorming with your team. Okay, so for continuous evaluation, meaning you are going to have the event that is continuing or actively happen. So you have to evaluate what happened last week. So can we do something better this week rather than last week, for example, like that. Okay, and then number 9, we have feedback. So as for feedback means post-event feedback following the evaluation and important for future performance. So you are getting feedback from everyone, meaning you are getting feedback from the participants, you are getting feedback from the visitors, you are getting feedback from all the stakeholders that is available at that time. Right? So next, strategic planning for the event. So what is the meaning of strategic planning? So strategic planning means the process of determining an organization's long-term goals and objectives. So just now we have known and we have learned about how we are going to have a planning process. Okay, so we have run through all the planning process. Now we need to make a strategic planning. So in a simpler words, strategic planning meaning it is for a long-term planning. Okay, so it must be in a compliance with mission. Proper plan of actions means we have the strategy and we are going to have a good policies and program. Right. So according to Kotler, he defines strategic planning as the process of developing and maintaining a strategic fit between the organization's goal and capabilities and its changing market opportunities. So according to Allen, 2008, they defines the strategic planning process involves determining where an organization is at present, deciding where it could be positioned in the marketplace in order to maximize its changes in progressing its mission, and creating strategies and tactics to achieve the position. Okay. So I believe you are all like pening-pening. Okay. So now I have a simpler words. I have a simpler version of this kind of definition. So the question is, where are we going to be in next 5 years? So that is the common question that you are going to have for strategic planning. Okay, so you got what I mean? Right, good. Okay, so strategic planning for events, it is the step of deciding upon the general actions needed to attain the comprehensive objective. It is the process that is concerned with end results and the means to achieve those results. So the event strategic plans provides the definition for event stakeholders of the steps, people, time frame, and other critical elements needed to ensure that an event reaches a successful outcome. So it is crucial to have strategic planning in order for you to place or position your organization or yourself in a long-term time. Okay. So now we are going to know, or we have come out to the last slide. So it is the failure of strategic planning. Why the failure is happened? Okay, now we take a look on time. Event managers report that their time is scarce and difficult to allocate for planning in the face of continual day-to-day operating problems. Meaning here, the event manager that they say they don't have any time at all, and it's very difficult to allocate or to do the planning, okay, because they have lots of other works or operational works that they have to do. Okay, and then number 2, getting started. Small business event firm owner have minimal exposure to knowledge of the planning process. They are uncertain of components of the process in this sequence. They are unfamiliar with many planning information sources and with how they should be used. Meaning here, they don't know where to start. They don't know how to start. Okay, and then lastly, broad expertise. Broad expertise here, small business event manager typically are generalists and they often lack certain expertise that often become necessary in a planning process. Meaning here, less people have a very strategic planning in their head. They are not a strategic planner. Instead, they are only conducting, or they only have strategic for a short-term event, not a very long-term planning for the event. Okay, so I think that's all for our today's class. So thank you very much for listening. So if you have, or if you keep to have any questions regarding this chapter, feel free to contact me personally. So I think that's all from me. So thank you very much for listening, and I will see you guys in next class. Bye-bye.